IELTS Listening, Part 1. Instructions. You are going to hear a one-person announcement about arrangements at a local community center. Before you listen, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 10. IELTS Listening, Part 1. Instructions. You are going to hear a one-person announcement about arrangements at a local community center. Before you listen, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 10. For each question, choose the correct answer A, B, or C. You will hear the recording only once. Now look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Riverside Community Center information session. My name is Daniel, and I am going to give you some useful information about the activities and services available here this week. If this is your first visit, don't worry. I'll explain everything step by step, including appointments, tickets, course fees, food arrangements, and the schedule for our weekly meetings. First, let me talk about appointments. If you need to speak to one of our advisors, you must book an appointment at reception. We normally have several times available each morning. For example, tomorrow there is an appointment at 9 o'clock, another at 10:30 a.m., and a final one at 11:30. The 9 o'clock appointment is usually quite popular with people who have to work later in the day. However, the appointment at 10:30 is the one that has been reserved for the new student group. So, if you are attending the appointment with the advisor tomorrow, please remember that the correct time is 10:30 a.m. Now, I'd like to give you some information about tickets. Some of you have registered for our weekend educational trip. You may have already paid for your ticket online, but you still need to collect the physical ticket before the trip. There are 3 possible places where you might expect to collect it. You might think it will be available at the station, or perhaps at the hotel where we are staying. However, neither of those is correct. The tickets will be available from the airport information desk on the morning of departure. Please remember that you need to show your booking confirmation when you collect your ticket. We recommend arriving early because there may be a queue. Next, let's talk about the evening language course. The course lasts for 6 weeks and includes 2 classes every week. The normal price is £65, but because the community center is currently offering a special promotion, new students only need to pay £55. The £45 price you may have seen on an old leaflet is no longer available. So, when you register, please make sure that you pay the current course fee of £55. Now, moving on to refreshments. During the afternoon break, we will have several food options available. There will be sandwiches, salads and pizzas. If you're wondering what the main hot food option will be, it's pizza. We'll have vegetarian pizza as well as a chicken option. Sandwiches will also be available for people who prefer something lighter, while the salads will be placed near the drinks table. Finally, I want to remind everyone about our weekly meeting. These meetings are held every week, but the day can sometimes change because of public holidays or special events. This week, the meeting will not be on Monday. It has also been moved from the usual Wednesday afternoon. Instead, this week's meeting will take place on Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Please make a note of that change because we don't want anyone to arrive on the wrong day. That is all the information you need for questions 1 to 5. Questions 6 to 10. Now look at questions 6 to 10. Listen carefully and answer questions 6 to 10. Before we finish, I'd like to explain a few more details about the center and the facilities you may need during your visit. First, if you are a new student, you will need to attend an introductory session. The session is held in one of 3 rooms in the education building. Room 12 is normally used for computer classes, while room 32 is mainly used for large meetings and presentations. Your introductory session, however, will take place in room 21. Room 21 is on the first floor, directly opposite the main staircase. If you have difficulty finding it, just ask at reception and a member of staff will show you the way. Now, let me give you some information about transport. A number of people have asked how to get to the center from the railway station. There are several possibilities. You can walk, take a taxi, or use public transport. For one of our regular staff members, traveling by train isn't necessary because he lives quite close to the center. He normally travels to work by bicycle. The journey takes him around 15 minutes, depending on traffic. There is also a bus service, which is particularly useful for visitors who live further away. Next, I want to mention the lost property service. Yesterday, one of our visitors reported losing an important personal item. At first, she thought she had lost her wallet because she couldn't find it in her bag. Later, she realized that her wallet was actually in her coat pocket. She then checked her belongings again and discovered that the item she had really lost was her phone. If you lose anything while you are here, please report it to the reception desk immediately. Lost property is kept in a secure cupboard, and valuable items are only returned after we check the owner's details. Now, for those of you who are interested in using the new library, I have some directions for you. The old library used to be inside the main community center, but the new library has recently moved to a larger building. When you leave the main entrance, walk straight ahead for about 2 minutes. You'll pass the bus stop on your left. Continue walking until you reach the bank. The new library is located opposite the bank. It has large glass doors at the front, so it should be quite easy to recognize. The entrance is also clearly marked with a blue library sign. Finally, I'd like to remind you about the opening hours of the center shop. The shop sells notebooks, stationery, snacks, drinks and some basic study materials. It opens at 8:30 in the morning and stays open throughout the day. During weekdays, the shop normally closes at 7 p.m. Please don't confuse this with Saturday opening hours. On Saturdays, the shop closes at 6 o'clock, while on weekdays it remains open for another hour. So, if you need to buy anything after your evening class, you still have time to visit the shop before it closes at 7. That brings us to the end of the information session. Thank you very much for listening. I hope the information has been useful and that you enjoy your time at the Riverside Community Center. End of the test. That is the end of part 1. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers. This is the end of part 1.
IELTS Listening, Part 2. Instructions. You are going to hear one person giving information about a community park. Look at the map carefully before the recording begins. For questions 11 to 20, listen to the speaker and decide where each place is located on the map. Choose the correct location AJ for each place. You will hear the recording only once. Now look at questions 11 to 20 and study the map. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 20. IELTS Listening, Part 2. Instructions. You are going to hear one person giving information about a community park. Look at the map carefully before the recording begins. For questions 11 to 20, listen to the speaker and decide where each place is located on the map. Choose the correct location AJ for each place. You will hear the recording only once. Now look at questions 11 to 20 and study the map. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 20. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Riverside Community Park. My name is Daniel, and I'm going to give you a short tour of the park and explain where you can find the different facilities shown on your map. Before we begin, imagine that you are standing at the main entrance on the southern side of the park. The main road runs along the bottom of the map, and there are several walking paths leading from the entrance towards different parts of the park. Let's start with the information center. When you enter the park, don't walk straight towards the lake. Instead, turn slightly to your left and follow the short path. The information center is located close to the entrance, on the left-hand side of the main path. It is a small rectangular building where visitors can collect maps, ask questions, and find information about activities in the park. Now let's move on to the children's playground. From the information center, continue along the main path towards the northern part of the park. After passing a large group of trees, you'll see the children's playground on your right. It is surrounded by a low wooden fence and contains swings, slides and climbing equipment. Next, I'd like to point out the cafe. If you continue along the main path from the playground, you'll eventually come to a small junction. Take the path going towards the eastern side of the park. The cafe is situated near this path, beside an open grassy area. There are several outdoor tables outside the cafe, so it should be quite easy to recognize. Now, let's look at the bicycle parking area. The bicycle parking facility is not directly next to the cafe. Instead, go back towards the central path and follow it southwards. You'll find the bicycle parking area close to the eastern entrance. There are several metal bicycle stands there. The next place is the public toilets. From the bicycle parking area, walk west towards the center of the park. The public toilets are located near the central junction, just beside the main walking path. They are positioned between the grassy area and one of the smaller garden sections. Now I'd like to tell you about the outdoor gym. If you continue north from the public toilets, you'll reach a large open space. The outdoor gym is on the western side of this area. It contains several pieces of exercise equipment, including bars, benches and stepping machines. It is particularly popular in the morning. Next, we have the picnic area. From the outdoor gym, follow the path towards the western side of the park. The picnic area is located underneath several large trees. There are wooden picnic tables and benches, and it is a quieter part of the park, away from the cafe and playground. Now let's return to the main entrance. As I mentioned at the beginning, the main entrance is on the southern side of the park, directly beside the main road. It is the largest entrance and has a wide pedestrian gate. There is also a small sign showing the name of the park. The next location is the Rose Garden. From the main entrance, walk towards the center of the park and then take the path leading towards the western side. The Rose Garden is located near the picnic area but is separated from it by a narrow walking path. You'll see many different varieties of roses there, as well as several small benches. Finally, let's look at the small lake. The lake is located in the northern part of the park. If you follow the main central path northwards from the public toilets, you'll eventually reach the lake. It is surrounded by trees and has a small footpath around part of its edge. So, to recap the route, the main entrance is at the southern side, the information center is close to the entrance, the playground is further north, and the cafe is towards the eastern side. The bicycle parking is near the eastern entrance, while the public toilets are closer to the center. The outdoor gym is in the western part of the open area, the picnic area is further west under the trees, and the Rose Garden is nearby. Finally, the small lake is in the northern section of the park. I hope that makes the layout of Riverside Community Park clear. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy your visit. That is the end of part 2. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers. Pause 30 seconds. This is the end of part 2.
IELTS Listening, Part 3. Instructions. You are going to hear one person giving a talk about a university research project. You have some time to look at questions 21 to 30. IELTS Listening, Part 3. Instructions. You are going to hear one person giving a talk about a university research project. You have some time to look at questions 21 to 30. Complete the notes using the information you hear. Write no more than 2 words and/or a number for each answer. You will hear the recording only once. Now look at questions 21 to 30. Now listen carefully and complete the notes. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to explain the research project that you'll be completing as part of your final university assessment. The project this year focuses on sleep habits among university students. We decided to choose this topic because students often have very different sleeping routines, particularly when they have examinations, assignments, or part-time jobs. During the project, you'll investigate several factors that may influence students' sleeping patterns. These include the amount of time they spend studying, their use of mobile phones and other electronic devices, and the effect of employment on their daily routines. Now, let's talk about how you will collect the information. Instead of conducting long face-to-face interviews, you'll collect most of your information through an online questionnaire. The questionnaire has been designed to be straightforward, so participants should not have any difficulty understanding the questions. The first group of participants will be contacted on Monday. You'll receive a list of potential participants before then, and you should send them the survey link during the morning. The questionnaire should take approximately 15 minutes to complete. Please tell participants that they should answer every question as honestly as possible. They are not required to provide their full names. Our target is to collect at least 200 completed responses. This is the minimum number required for the research to be considered reliable. If you can collect more than 200 responses, that would be even better. There is also some basic information that you need to record. Before participants begin the survey, you should record their age. We don't need their full name, home address, or telephone number. Now, an important point concerns data security. Once you have collected the information, it must be transferred to the university's secure server. Please do not keep copies of the research data on personal computers, mobile phones, or USB drives. The research team will also have regular progress meetings. These meetings will take place every Friday. During the meetings, you'll discuss the number of completed questionnaires, any difficulties you've experienced, and what needs to be done during the following week. Let's move on to the final stages of the project. The final research report must be submitted by the 30th of June. This is an important deadline, so I recommend that you start writing your report well before the end of the semester. After the written report has been submitted, each research group will give a presentation about its findings. The presentations will take place in the university auditorium. You'll have approximately 10 minutes to present your findings, followed by a short question and answer session. Your presentation should include the main results of your research, some simple charts or graphs, and a short conclusion. You don't need to include every individual response. There are also a few ethical requirements that you should remember.
Participation in the research must be voluntary. Participants should understand that they can stop taking part at any time. You must also explain that the information they provide will only be used for academic purposes. Finally, please make sure that your information is accurate. Check your figures carefully before including them in the final report, and make sure that any charts you produce correspond exactly to the data you collected. So, to summarize the most important points, the project is about sleep habits among university students. Information will be collected using an online questionnaire. The first participants will be contacted on Monday. Each questionnaire takes approximately 15 minutes, and we need at least 200 completed responses. Remember to record the participant's age. Store all information on the university's secure server, and attend the research meeting every Friday. The final report is due on the 30th of June, and the research findings will be presented in the university auditorium. That concludes my introduction to the research project. I hope you now have a clear idea of what is expected. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best with your research. That is the end of part 3. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers. This is the end of part 3.
IELTS Listening, Part 4. Instructions. You are going to hear one person giving a lecture about the process of making recycled paper. Before you listen, look at questions 31 to 40 and study the process chart. Complete the process chart using the information you hear. Write no more than 2 words and/or a number for each answer. You will hear the recording only once. Now look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and complete the process chart. Good morning, everyone. Today's lecture is about the process of making recycled paper. Recycling paper may seem like a simple process, but in fact, it involves several carefully controlled stages. Today I am going to take you through the entire process, starting with the collection of used paper and ending with the production of finished recycled paper. The first stage is, of course, the collection of used paper. Used paper comes from a variety of sources, including homes, schools, offices, and businesses. Special collection vehicles transport the paper to a recycling facility. Once the paper arrives at the facility, it cannot immediately be used. The first thing workers need to do is remove contaminants. This means taking out materials that should not be included in the recycling process, such as plastic, metal clips, pieces of tape, and other rubbish. After the contaminants have been removed, the paper is carefully sorted according to type and quality. Different types of paper have different properties, so newspapers, office paper, cardboard, and colored paper are separated into different groups. The next stage is called shredding. During this stage, large machines cut the paper into very small pieces. Shredding makes it easier to break down the paper fibers during the following stages. The shredded paper is then mixed with a large quantity of water. As the paper absorbs the water, it begins to break apart and form a thick mixture called pulp. The pulp contains paper fibers, water, and sometimes small unwanted particles that were not removed earlier. Therefore, the next stage involves cleaning the pulp. The mixture passes through a filter that removes unwanted materials. Several filtering stages may be used, depending on the quality of the original paper. Once the pulp has been cleaned, it is ready to be turned back into paper. The clean mixture is spread evenly across a large screen. The screen allows water to drain away while the paper fibers remain on its surface. At this stage, the material is still very wet, so more water needs to be removed. A machine called a press applies pressure to the wet paper. This removes a significant amount of excess water and also helps the fibers stick together. The paper is then ready for the drying stage. In this particular recycling facility, the wet paper is dried at a temperature of approximately 100 degrees Celsius. Large heated rollers are used to remove the remaining moisture. After drying, the paper passes through rollers. These rollers apply pressure to the paper and make its surface smoother and more even. This stage is particularly important when the recycled paper is going to be used for printing or writing. The finished paper is then cut into standard sheets. The size of these sheets depends on their intended use. Some may be cut for office printing, while others may be prepared for notebooks, packaging, or newspapers. Finally, the recycled paper is packaged and sent to customers. Before it leaves the factory, workers check the quality of the paper. They make sure that the sheets have the correct thickness, moisture level, and size. So, let's quickly review the complete process. First, used paper is collected and transported to the recycling facility. Contaminants are removed, and the paper is sorted according to its type and quality. Next, the paper is shredded into small pieces and mixed with water to create pulp. The pulp passes through a filter to remove unwanted materials. The clean pulp is then spread onto a screen. A press removes excess water, and the wet paper is dried at approximately 100 degrees Celsius. After drying, the paper passes through rollers to improve its surface. It is then cut into standard sheets. Finally, the recycled paper is packaged and sent to customers. Although modern recycling technology has made the process more efficient, careful control is required at every stage to produce high-quality paper. That concludes today's lecture on recycled paper production. Thank you for listening. That is the end of part 4. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers. This is the end of the IELTS listening test.